Have you ever woken up and felt like something was missing? Not something you can point to or name, but a quiet emptiness that sits in the chest. The house is clean, the bills are paid, the calendar has a few appointments scattered here and there, and yet, somewhere beneath it all there's a restlessness that won't quite settle. You're not alone in this feeling. After 60, many people discover that the things they spent decades chasing, the perfect home, the successful career, the approval of others, no longer fill the space they once promised to. The Buddha understood this restlessness 2,500 years ago. He called it dukkha, a gentle word that doesn't quite translate to suffering, but rather to the unsatisfactoriness of life, when we're constantly grasping for what we think we need. He taught that peace doesn't come from finally getting everything right. It comes from learning to live differently, from the inside out. What if the years after 60 aren't about decline at all, but about discovery? What if this is the season when you finally have the wisdom, the time, and the inner stillness to cultivate habits that actually bring peace? Today, we'll explore 7 ancient Buddhist practices that aren't complicated rituals or distant philosophies. They're simple, daily habits that can transform how you experience each ordinary moment. These aren't about becoming perfect, they're about becoming free. So, if you're ready, let's walk this path together, gently, honestly, with the kind of wisdom that only comes from having lived long enough to know what truly matters. 1. Wake each morning with gratitude for what already is. There's a practice in Buddhist communities that might surprise you. Before the day begins, before the mind starts making lists or worrying about what needs to be done, many practitioners pause and simply acknowledge, I am still here, I am still breathing. This day is a gift. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But the Buddha taught about Anicca, the truth that everything changes, nothing stays the same. Not your health, not your circumstances, not the people you love. And while that might sound frightening at first, there's a strange freedom in it, because if everything is impermanent, then this very moment, this very breath, becomes precious beyond measure. Think about it. You've outlived friends, perhaps even people younger than you. You've seen technologies come and go, governments rise and fall, whole eras of history unfold. The fact that you're here, reading these words, feeling the weight of your body in the chair, noticing the quality of light in the room, this is not guaranteed. It's a miracle, really, even if we've stopped seeing it that way. I once met a woman named Dorothy at a meditation group in Oregon. She was 82, walked with a cane, and had lost most of her hearing in one ear. But every single morning, she told me, she sat at her kitchen window and whispered a simple thank you. Not to anyone in particular, just a quiet acknowledgement of what remained: the sunrise, the birds at the feeder, the tea warming her hands. Her daughter had asked her once why she did this, and Dorothy's answer stayed with me. Because I spent 50 years waiting to be happy when I finally got what I wanted. Now I've learned to be happy with what I have. This is the practice of gratitude, but not the kind that feels forced or performative. It's the kind that emerges when you stop postponing joy. When you realize that the life you've been waiting to begin has already been happening all along. You don't need a fancy journal or a perfect routine. You just need a moment. Before you check your phone, before you start the coffee, before the day's worries crowd in, pause. Place your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. And whisper, even if just to yourself, thank you for this breath. Thank you for this day. Thank you for what remains. The Buddha once said that those who are grateful wake each day feeling they've been given something priceless. And it's true. Gratitude doesn't change what you have. It changes how you see what you've always had. 2. Release what you cannot control. Here's a truth that took me years to accept. Most of life is beyond our control. The weather, other people's opinions, the past, the future, even our own bodies, as we age, begin to remind us daily that we are not the masters we once thought we were. And yet, so much suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. We replay conversations, wishing we'd said something different. We worry about what might happen tomorrow, next month, next year. We hold on to relationships that have run their course, clinging to how things used to be instead of accepting how they are now. The Buddha taught that this clinging is the root of suffering. He didn't mean we shouldn't care about things. He meant that when we grip too tightly, when we demand that life unfold exactly as we wish, we create our own pain. There's a traditional Buddhist story about a monk who carried water from the river each day. One morning, his bucket cracked and water began to leak out. A student asked, "Master, won't you fix the bucket?" The monk smiled. "Why? The water that remains is still enough to quench my thirst. And look," he pointed to the wet trail behind them, "the water I lost is nourishing the earth along the path." This is what letting go looks like, not giving up, but redirecting your energy toward what actually lies within your power. You can't control if your children call you enough, but you can decide how you spend your days when they don't. You can't control your body aging, but you can choose how you respond to the changes, with bitterness or with gentle acceptance. You can't rewrite the past, but you can choose what story you tell yourself about it. I think of my friend Thomas, who spent his 70s furious that his son had moved across the country and rarely visited. "After everything I did for him," Thomas would say, shaking his head, "it was only after attending a Buddhist meditation group that something shifted." The teacher asked a simple question: "What are you holding on to that you need to put down?" For Thomas, it was the expectation that his son owed him a certain kind of relationship. When he finally released that expectation, he told me something miraculous happened. Not that his son started visiting more, but that Thomas stopped suffering every day he didn't. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop demanding that reality be different than it is. And in that space, in that release, you find something you didn't expect: room to breathe, permission to live in this moment, exactly as it is, without constantly fighting against what you cannot change. So here's your practice. Notice today where you're gripping too tightly. Where are you trying to control something beyond your reach? And then, gently, like opening your hand to release a stone you've been carrying, let it go. Just for today, just for this breath. See what happens when you stop resisting what is. 3. Tend your mind as you would your body. You've probably spent more time this year at doctor's appointments than you care to count. Blood pressure checks, prescriptions refilled, specialists consulted. We invest so much energy in keeping the body running, and that's important, of course it is. But what about the mind? When was the last time you tended to the inner landscape where you actually live? The Buddha emphasized this again and again in his teachings. He said that the mind is the forerunner of all things. What we think, we become. If the mind is cluttered with worry, resentment, or endless mental chatter, then that's the world we inhabit, no matter how healthy our body might be. But if we learn to cultivate a mind that's calm, clear, and compassionate, then peace becomes possible even when circumstances are difficult. This is where mindfulness comes in, not as some trendy buzzword, but as an ancient practice of simply paying attention. The Buddha taught about being aware of the body in the body, which means noticing what's actually happening right now, not in your thoughts about the past or future, but in the felt experience of this moment. It doesn't require sitting cross-legged for hours. You can practice mindfulness while washing dishes, feeling the warm water on your hands and the slickness of soap. You can practice it during your morning walk, noticing the sensation of each step, the rhythm of your breath, the play of light through the trees. You can practice it right now, simply by becoming aware that you're breathing. In, out, in, out. I remember Margaret, a retired nurse who came to one of my meditation workshops deeply skeptical. "I don't have time to sit still and do nothing," she said. I suggested she try just 5 minutes in the morning, sitting quietly and following her breath, not trying to empty her mind or achieve some special state, just noticing. Breathing in, she'd silently note breathing in, breathing out, breathing out. 3 weeks later, she told me something had shifted. She wasn't sleeping better yet, or feeling less anxious, but she noticed she was less reactive. When her husband criticized her cooking, she didn't immediately snap back. She paused, she breathed, and in that tiny gap, she found she had a choice about how to respond. "It's like I've been living in a storm my whole life," she said, and for the first time, I found a calm spot in the middle of it. This is what tending the mind does. It creates space. It allows you to witness your thoughts and feelings without being completely swept away by them. Anger still arises, but you don't have to act on it immediately. Sadness comes, but you don't have to let it define your entire day. Fear appears, but you can notice it, acknowledge it, and choose not to let it make all your decisions. And here's the beautiful thing. Research shows that mindfulness practice actually changes the brain, even in older adults. It can improve memory, reduce stress, help manage chronic pain, and cultivate a sense of well-being that doesn't depend on external circumstances. So your practice might be simple. Each morning, before the day's demands begin, sit comfortably. Set a timer for 5 minutes if that helps. Close your eyes or let your gaze rest softly on the floor, and simply notice your breathing. When your mind wanders, and it will, constantly just gently bring it back. No judgment, no frustration, just a quiet return, again and again, to this breath, this moment, this life that's still unfolding, one breath at a time. 4. Choose relationships that nourish your spirit. The Buddha spoke often about what he called noble friendship. He taught that the people we keep near shape the quality of our minds and hearts. In fact, he once told his cousin Ananda that noble friendship isn't just part of the spiritual life, it's the whole of it. This becomes especially important as we age. Your energy is more precious now than it's ever been. The hours you have left are finite, even if we don't like to think about it that way. And every moment you spend with someone who drains your peace, who criticizes more than they appreciate, who takes without giving back, is a moment you'll never get to spend in a different way. This doesn't mean cutting people off with anger or resentment. The Buddhist path is always one of compassion, but compassion includes compassion for yourself. And sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is create distance from relationships that harm your spirit. I think of a woman I'll call Janet, who spent decades in a friendship that left her feeling small. Her friend would call regularly, but only to complain, to gossip about others, to remind Janet of every mistake she'd ever made. For years, Janet answered the phone out of obligation. "We've been friends since high school," she'd say. "I can't just abandon her." But during a Buddhist retreat focused on loving-kindness practice, something became clear to Janet. She realized that she wouldn't treat a stranger the way her friend treated her, that this wasn't friendship at all, but a habit she'd been too afraid to break. So she made a choice, not to hate her friend, not to condemn her, but simply to protect her own peace. She stopped answering every call. She set boundaries. And slowly, painfully, she let that relationship fade into what it needed to be, a memory of what was, not an anchor dragging her down in the present. On the other hand, new connections are still possible, even now, maybe especially now. There's a Buddhist center not far from where I live that hosts tea gatherings for older adults every Sunday afternoon. No formal meditation, no religious talk. Just people sitting together, sharing stories, listening with kindness. One man told me he'd lived alone for 8 years after his wife died. I thought my time for friendship was over, he said, but these people, they see me, they remember my name. They ask about my week. It's not much, but it's everything. So look around your life right now. Who lifts you up? Who makes you feel more like yourself, not less? These are the people to invest in. Call them, invite them over, show up when they need you, because these connections, these genuine bonds, are what the Buddha meant by noble friendship. And if you find yourself lonely, if your circle has grown small, remember this. You are not too old to plant new seeds. Join a group, volunteer somewhere that matters to you. Attend a meditation class or a book club or a gardening workshop. Be willing to show up as you are, without pretense, and you may be surprised who appears beside you. Because the Dharma, the Buddhist path, teaches us that we're all interconnected. Your peace supports my peace. Your kindness ripples outward. And when we gather with those who honor this truth, something sacred happens. We stop feeling so alone. 5. Live in presence, not through a screen. Here's something the Buddha never had to worry about: smartphones. But if he were teaching today, I imagine he'd have quite a lot to say about our relationship with technology. The practice of mindfulness, which we touched on earlier, is fundamentally about being present, being here, in this body, in this moment, fully awake to what's actually happening. And yet, how many moments do we spend somewhere else entirely, scrolling through news that makes us anxious, watching videos of other people's lives, documenting our own experiences instead of actually experiencing them? I'm not suggesting you throw your phone away. Technology connects us to distant loved ones, provides access to teachings and communities we might never find otherwise. But there's a balance to be found, a middle way, as the Buddha would call it. Think about the last sunset you saw. Did you watch it with your own eyes, feeling the shift in temperature as the light changed, noticing the colors deepen and fade? Or did you watch it through your phone screen, trying to capture the perfect photo to share? There's a Zen teaching that says, when walking, just walk. When eating, just eat. It sounds simple, but it's remarkably difficult in practice, because we've trained ourselves to always be doing two things at once: walking while checking messages, eating while watching television. Even sitting quietly, our minds are often somewhere else entirely, replaying the past or rehearsing the future. True presence means inhabiting this moment completely. It means putting the phone down during dinner, even if you're eating alone. It means looking into someone's eyes when they speak to you, really listening, instead of planning what you'll say next. It means feeling the texture of the sheets when you wake up, the warmth of water on your skin in the shower, the taste of your morning tea. I met a man named Robert at a meditation retreat who told me he'd spent his whole retirement taking photos everywhere he went. Mountains, gardens, grandchildren's birthday parties. thousands and thousands of photos stored on devices he rarely looked at again. "I was so busy capturing moments," he said, "that I never actually lived in them." Now he has a practice. He allows himself one photo per outing, just one. The rest of the time, he simply looks, simply is. And he told me that this single change has made his days feel longer, richer, more vivid. Because when you're fully present, time slows down. Life expands. So here's your invitation. Choose one activity today to do with complete presence. Maybe it's your morning coffee. Sit with it. Notice the warmth of the cup in your hands, the smell rising with the steam, the first sip touching your tongue. Don't scroll through your phone. Don't plan your day. Just drink your coffee, completely, fully, as if it's the only thing in the world that matters in this moment. Because it is. This moment is all we ever really have. And the Dharma teaches us that when we stop grasping at what was or what might be, when we settle into what is, we find a peace that no external circumstance can shake. 6. Give what you can time. Attention, kindness. In Buddhist practice, there's a word, dana. It means generosity, but not just the kind that involves money or material gifts. Dana is about the spirit of giving itself, the joy that comes from offering what you have to others, freely, without expectation of return. The Buddha actually taught that generosity is the foundation of the spiritual path. Before he taught meditation or philosophy, he taught giving, because when we give, something shifts inside us. The tight fist of self-concern begins to open. The walls we've built around me and mine start to soften. We remember that we're not separate, isolated individuals, but part of a vast web of connection. Now, you might be thinking, I'm retired. I don't have much money to give. And that's okay. Dana isn't primarily about wealth. It's about what the Zen teacher Thich Nhat Hanh called the gift of non-fear, the willingness to offer ourselves, our time, our attention, even when it's inconvenient. Think about the gifts only you can give. Your presence when someone is grieving, your listening ear when a friend needs to talk, a phone call to someone who's lonely, a kind word to the checkout clerk who looks tired, the sharing of your accumulated wisdom with someone younger who's navigating challenges you've already faced. I know a woman named Elena who volunteers at a hospice 2 afternoons a week. She doesn't do anything medical. She just sits with people who are dying, holds their hands sometimes, reads to them, listens to their stories. When I asked her why she does it, she said something I've never forgotten. I spent my working years taking a paycheck, taking credit, taking up space. Now I just want to give. And what I've discovered is that giving fills me up in a way taking never did. This is the paradox of dana. The more you give, the richer you become. Not in material wealth, but in something deeper. A sense of purpose. A feeling of connection, the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing you've made someone's day a little lighter. There's even a teaching in Buddhism that says, even if you don't have a single penny, you can still practice generosity. How? By offering a smile, by truly seeing someone who feels invisible, by saying thank you and meaning it, by being patient when someone is slow, by offering forgiveness when someone stumbles. So what can you give today? Maybe it's as simple as calling someone you know is lonely, making soup for a neighbor who's unwell, leaving an encouraging comment for someone online, picking up litter in your neighborhood park. It doesn't have to be grand or time-consuming, just genuine, just offered from an open heart. Because here's the truth the Buddha understood. When we live in a spirit of generosity, life stops feeling like a zero-sum game where we're constantly protecting what's ours. Instead, it becomes a flowing stream where giving and receiving are part of the same movement. And in that flow, we find a happiness that doesn't depend on getting more, but on sharing what we already have. 7. Begin again every single day. There's a beautiful teaching in Buddhism that every breath is a new chance. Every morning is a fresh beginning. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter what mistakes you made or opportunities you missed, this moment right now is unwritten, clean, full of possibility. For those of us over 60, this can be hard to believe. We carry so much history, so many years of patterns, habits, regrets. It's easy to feel like the story is already written, like we are who we've always been, and there's no room for change. But the Buddha's entire teaching was about transformation. He welcomed people from all backgrounds into his community, including those who had lived violent lives, who had harmed others, who were broken by their own actions. And he taught them that awakening, freedom, peace, these are always possible. Always. Right up until your very last breath. Think about it this way. Your cells are constantly renewing. Your body right now is not the same body you had 7 years ago. Even your brain, which we once thought was fixed, continues to form new connections, to learn, to change. You are, quite literally, becoming new every moment. So why do we cling to old stories about ourselves? I've always been anxious. I'm not good at relationships. I'm too old to change. These narratives feel true because we've believed them for so long. But they're just stories. And stories can be rewritten. I think of a man I met named Arthur. At 78, he decided to learn to paint. He'd always wanted to, but had told himself his whole life that he had no artistic talent. His first paintings were, in his words, terrible. But he kept going. And now, 5 years later, his work hangs in a local gallery. Not because he became a master, but because he was willing to begin, to be a beginner, to let go of needing to be good, and simply enjoy the act of creating. This is what begin again means. It means you can start a meditation practice today, even if you've never meditated before. You can reach out to someone you've been estranged from. You can apologize for something you said in 1987. You can change your mind about something you've believed your whole life. You can decide, right now, that today will be different. The practice is simple but profound. Each morning when you wake, before you pick up your phone or start the coffee, take a moment, place your hand on your heart, and say these words, or something like them. Today is a new day. I am not bound by yesterday. I have the freedom to choose how I will be, who I will be, in this moment. And if today doesn't go well, if you lose your patience or fall back into old habits or hurt someone you love, tomorrow morning you begin again. No shame, no self-flagellation, just a gentle return, like bringing your attention back to the breath in meditation, again and again and again. Because this is the path the Buddha taught. Not perfection, not getting it right every time, but persistence, compassion toward yourself when you stumble, and the willingness to keep showing up, to keep choosing love over fear, presence over distraction, generosity over grasping. You are not finished. You are not too late. Every sunrise is an invitation. Every breath is a chance to begin again. And the only moment that truly matters is this one, right here, right now, bringing it all together. So, here we are. 7 habits, 7 invitations, 7 ways of living that draw from ancient wisdom but are as practical as your morning coffee. Wake with gratitude. Release what you can't control. Tend your mind. Choose nourishing relationships. Live in presence. Give freely. Begin again daily. None of these require perfection. None demand that you become someone you're not. They simply ask that you pay attention, that you live with intention, that you treat yourself and others with the kindness the Buddha knew was at the heart of all genuine transformation. These practices aren't about adding more to your already full life. They're about subtraction, letting go of the weight of old patterns, of constant striving, of the illusion that happiness exists somewhere outside this moment. They're about discovering that peace isn't something you achieve. It's something you uncover when you stop fighting against life and learn to move with it. You've lived long enough to know that time is precious, that days can slip by unmarked if we're not careful, that we can reach the end of a year, a decade, a life, and wonder where it all went. But it doesn't have to be that way. Every moment you're awake is a chance to be truly alive, to feel deeply, to love fully, to let go of what no longer serves you and embrace what does. The Buddha once said, "The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart." The peace you're looking for isn't out there somewhere. It's right here, in how you meet this ordinary day, in whether you notice the light on the wall or rush past it, in whether you smile at the person in line behind you or avoid their eyes, in whether you forgive yourself for yesterday or carry it like a stone. These 7 habits aren't magic. They won't solve every problem or erase every difficulty, but practiced with gentleness and persistence, they will change how you experience your life. They'll teach you that happiness after 60 isn't about having everything figured out. It's about being willing to show up, to pay attention, to choose kindness again and again. So begin where you are. Start small if you need to. Maybe just wake up tomorrow and say thank you for one thing before your feet hit the floor. Maybe notice one breath before you speak in anger. Maybe give one genuine smile to someone who looks like they need it. These small acts accumulate. They create momentum. They reshape the landscape of your inner life, slowly, quietly, the way water shapes stone. And remember, this path doesn't require you to be perfect. It only asks that you be willing to try, willing to fail, and try again. Willing to meet yourself and this world with a little more tenderness, a little more presence, a little more care. If something in today's message touched you, if you felt even a small shift in how you might approach tomorrow, then that's enough. That's exactly enough. Share what you've learned if it might help someone else. Leave a comment about which of these 7 practices speaks to you most deeply, and consider subscribing so we can continue walking this path together. The Dharma teaches us that we're all in this together, all stumbling toward the light, all learning how to live with open hearts in a world that often asks us to close them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And may these practices bring you the peace you've been seeking, the peace that's been waiting patiently inside you all along.